Hey, y'all, welcome back to Right at the Wire. Well, it's an exciting day, isn't it? We finally got the post positions and we've got the morning line. So let's take a look and see who was impacted positively and negatively. Okay, this is the Kentucky Derby 149 post position analysis. We start with number 1, Hit Show, Drew the Rail. Not a good place to be, especially when you're going to be coming from behind. He's going to have to work out all kinds of traffic issues, and he's going to deal with a lot of kickback. And I just don't think it's a good position for him, so he's a toss. Verifying, I think it's a positive. He's going to be able to get on the rail, get up to where he needs to be, save a lot of ground, and that definitely improves his chances. However, we do have the instinct that he is probably not going to be running a very good race, and that makes him a toss, especially at 15-1. Two Phil's also negative impact. He doesn't like to be up near the lead. I think he's going to be coming from mid-pack. Consequently, he's going to have a lot of traffic to work through. If anybody can do it, he can. So I'm a little bit on the fence with him, but I'm leaning towards tossing because that may be a lot to overcome. And at 12-1, that's a bit of an underlay. Confidence game, I think the impact is negative. Because I don't necessarily think they're going to want to get him up near the lead. They may send him, but this one really needs to conserve all the energy he can, and he's going to have probably a troubled trip. And I don't really like him in this spot anyway. I think he ran his best in the Rebel, and I don't think that's good enough. So I'm leaning more than likely with toss, especially at 20-1. Tapit Trice got the worst of it. He needs to be on the outside, so if he does break slow again, to gather himself, get into stride. From this position, he runs the risk of getting slammed at the break, and also he's going to have a lot of traffic to deal with, a lot of kickback, things that he's not necessarily capable of dealing with. He doesn't have a lot of tactical speed. He's a straight-ahead runner. He needs to be in the outside, so he's going to lose a lot of ground. And I don't like his. This post is very tough for him. You got to use him though. There's too much talent there. But I think under win candidate, not so sure at that position. Kingsbarn's got a really good post. He's going to be able to get to where he wants to, he should be, and dictate from there. He'll likely be on the front end, and he could very well slow things down and turn it into a merry-go-round like the Louisiana Derby. So 12-1 is a bit of an underlay, I think, but I think we can use this one under from that post. Reincarnate got a good post as well. I think they're going to try to get him up near the lead. However, I don't think he's good enough. We've seen by his pace numbers that as the distances are getting longer, he's getting more challenged. At 50-1, maybe you think about him underneath if you think the pace is going to be really slow, but I'm leaning towards tossing him. Mage got a really good post. That's a perfect place for him. The whole issue, of course, is if he breaks well. If he does, he should be able to get exactly where he wants to be, and then the question is whether he's good enough. So I think you have to use him, but I'm not sure that a win candidate is possible, but I think under is a definite. Skinner, as long as he wasn't on the rail or way to the outside, I think this is a fine position. He's likely going to come from off the pace. He'll have a trip to work out, that's true. But I think this one's sitting on a big one, and I think you have to use him. I don't think the post position compromises him very much at all. Practical Move I thought, got a positive position. Given the fact there's some speed to the inside, he should be able to hustle up and get to where he wants to, and he might even find himself in the lead, given the high-energy way he runs. He will not be able to save ground on the rail like he has been doing for his other races. I don't think that's possible. And we do know that he has some distance limitations. So I'm on the fence with him just because there may be a pace that he can hang around in because he does have a lot of class, but I'm leaning towards tossing him. Disarm, I think, got a good position. He's going to be coming from off the pace. He'll have to work out a trip, but I think he's capable of doing it. And I think this one's at 30-1, I think he's a good use. Jason's Road, I don't think the post matters one way or the other. He's just not good enough. They're going to try to hustle him up to the lead. 15-1 is a major league underlay. I wouldn't even think about using this one at 50-1, and still, he's just not good enough. He's a toss. Sun Thunder, the post really doesn't matter. We know what he's going to do. He's going to come from way in the back. And I don't think he's good enough. But, you know, at 50-1 with a late running style, there is always that possibility he can clunk up for third or fourth. So for that respect, you have to use him. But I'm kind of on the fence because I don't think he's going to be much of a factor in this race. Angel of Empire, 14's a good spot for him. He'll have to work out a trip, that's for sure. But I think he's more than capable of doing it. And I don't think this negatively impacts him, let's put it that way. And he's still a use and a win candidate. Forte, same thing. I think this is a post that's fine. He should be able to get to where he wants to, be able to work out a trip. And he's too good not to use. Raise Kane, I don't think it matters. I don't think this one's good enough. At 50-1, maybe an underneath clunk up for fourth, but that's the best this one can do. But I'm more than likely going to toss. Dermot Sotogake, this post is, I'm saying negative because I think the most impact this one could have is on the front end, and it's going to be rather difficult for him to get there from the 17 hole. The other part of it is that if they try to rush him up and slide him over, he could impact Forte or Angel of Empire because they're so close to him. So that's one part of it that's negative for other horses per se, but it's also negative for him because to get the best ideal position for him, he's going to be challenged. Can he run off the pace? Yes, he can. And he has quite a bit. So you can still use him, but maybe not quite so confident as a win choice if you were thinking that. Rocket Can, this is a bad post for him. They put blinkers on him. That's a red flag right off the bat. But it's also more than likely they're going to try to get him up near the lead to have any chance. And at the 18 hole, it's going to be very difficult to do. And he's going to lose tons of ground and have to use a lot of energy early. And he was borderline to begin with. So I think he's a toss. Lord Miles, I don't think the post matters a whole lot for this one. He's going to be coming from behind and try to make one late run, and he can do that basically from anywhere other than the rail, really. So this is a non-factor what post he has. I'm on the fence about him a little bit, but I think he's underneath. I think it's very possible he could get into the money. So I think at 30-1, he's worth a use. Continuar is probably the perfect horse to put in the 20 hole. We know he's going to come from the back. We also know he doesn't have any turn of foot. He's a one-paced runner, and he's just going to keep running. At 50-1, could he get into fourth? Sure. Might even get third. So from that perspective, you can think about using him, but I really don't think this horse is good enough. His pace numbers look like he's going to be a little too far back to have any impact in this race. So I would think he'd be more than likely a toss. You got other high value you can use. So let's look at the results of the post. We have winners and losers. Number 2, verifying, is a winner. Kingsbarns, Mage, Skinner, Practical Move, Disarm, Angel of Empire, and Forte. I think their post positively impacted their chances, and it gives them a lot better shot at factoring in this race. The losers are number 1, Hit Show. The rail is death for anybody for the most part, unless he wants to try to look at Lee Deal, and I think that's unlikely. 3, 2 Fills because of his running style. If any horse can work out a trip, though, he might be able to do it. Confidence Game, I think what they're going to have to do with him is try to get him up near the lead, and I don't think that's really the best chance this horse has to factor, and I didn't really like him anyway. 5, Tapatrois. I mean, that absolutely is death. It's exactly what he doesn't need. He needs to be on the outside. He does have a lot of talent. Could he still work out a trip and factor? Sure. But I do think it compromises his ability to win the race. Dermot Sotogake, because the best impact he would have is up near the rail, up near the lead, rather. And I think that's going to be difficult. And really, more than anything, he could negatively impact some other horses if they try to hustle him up and get him up near the lead. 18, Rocket Can, again, loss of energy, blinkers on. They want him up near the lead. It's going to be very difficult to do so from the 18 hole. The ones that aren't listed, and really the impact is negligible one way or the other. So I don't think it really matters. It's not even worth talking about because there's other reasons we wouldn't like them, or they're going to be fine where they are, but it's not positive or negative. So that's where we are. There's definitely some impact of those post draws. There always is. And we've had a couple of horses that are really going to be compromised. It's going to be awful tough for them to factor. And we have some others that definitely positively impact and maybe up their chances a little bit to factor in the race. But for the most part, we're pretty good with what we have so far, and I think we can fashion tickets for sure with some value in them. We'll have some more coverage later this week, including the Oaks. We're going to dig into the 4 elements deeply into that race, and we'll talk about the undercards and see if we can get some nice value and some good opportunities from those horizontal wagers. If you like what you see here, of course, please like and subscribe. And we'll have a lot of coverage later this week, so stay tuned. And until I talk to you again, be well.